Hello and welcome to lesson number 4. Now we have the main body, we have the feet and the arms of our monster. Now it's time to create the funny face that this monster will have. So to create this face, first we're going to be needing to create some sculpting into this main body shape, and then we will add the eyes and the eyebrows. So let's begin by creating the mouth of the monster, and first I want to show you how this sculpting works. Just a little bit, kind of like an intro of how the sculpting works. Let's see, for example, if we have a sphere. Let's take this sphere to here, and let's add some more segments to the sphere so that it's smoother. Now if we take this sphere and make it editable by pressing C, now you know that we can change any sides of it like this. Now if we go to sculpting in the layout, we will have many tools here, and all these tools do a different thing. For example, the pull tool, which is the one that we're going to be using, the pull tool is really nice. If you click on the object with the pull tool, you can see that we are starting to pull all these polygons. You can see how they are starting to be pulled. If you grab your mouse and do something like this from the top to the bottom, you will have a little shape coming out of the sphere. So you can see that the sphere is now very bumpy instead of a smooth sphere. So that's what the pull tool does. Let's go back to the beginning. The grab tool does something a little bit similar, but it's a little more aggressive. We can grab the polygons and actually bring them all the way to wherever we want them to be. You can see that it's more aggressive than the pull, but the pull is just a little bump here on the object. And of course, if you have the pull, you can change the size, and that will change the size of the tool itself, and the pressure. Of course, if you have a higher pressure, the more aggressive the tool will be. And the same goes for the grab. All of them have some different size. We can have the smooth, which all that it does is smooth the shape. Of course, on a sphere it doesn't look like it's doing anything. We have the knife, which creates like a cut here on the sphere. And we have, for example, the inflate, which does something kind of like the pull tool also. And you can try all of them, they do wonderful things. Now if you take one of these tools, you remember that the pull tool right now, it pulls the sphere. But if you take the pull tool and instead of just clicking, you press Ctrl and click, it will do the opposite. Instead of pulling, it's pushing the sphere. So now you can see that the sphere has some depth here because I created it with the pull tool. So the same goes for the grab tool. If you click on Ctrl, instead of grabbing something, you are pushing it into the inner part of the sphere. The same goes with the knife. The knife works like this, but if you press Ctrl, it will go the other way around. So you can play a lot with the sculpting tools, and these are really nice tools, of course. And this is what we're going to be using to create the face of our monster. Now let's go to this point, and now let's go to the front view. Here on the front view, and go to display and select garage shading so that we can see the real monster here. And now right now we have the subdivision surface and the cube. Now it's time to create this as an editable object. So let's press C and take off the cube. That's it. Okay, now we have the cube. You can call this body, and we will create the mouth with the pole tool. If you want, you can create a copy of the body and just double click on this little button so that they don't appear on the editor, and we will edit this body. Now take your pole tool. Let's make sure that nothing is selected. Now take again your pole tool. Let's change the size to maybe 10, and the pressure should be smaller too, like 20% maybe. And let's get closer now. Let's try just a little bit of how it works, because I'm not sure of the size. But the idea here is to press Ctrl and create some sort of shape like this, or maybe something like this with some depth in it. Let's begin again. Maybe have a little less pressure, 15 maybe. And now we can, with Ctrl, create a shape like this. Just a little mouth. It's really simple. Maybe less pronounced. I can tell you exactly how to create it. Just play around until you create a shape that you like, and keep on pressing and keep on pressing. Now when you have the shape, now click again with Ctrl to create a deeper mouth, and just play around with the tool until you have created a nice shape for the mouth. Try to make it very deep. You can go into the perspective view and we can add some more deep depth with the depth tool. Maybe create a bigger size tool and try to make the mouth as deep as you want so that it looks fine. And remember that the idea is that when we set up the lights, that the mouth is a little darker on the inside, so we need to make this a little bit deeper. Go again to the front view. And let's see how it looks. I think this is enough for now. Okay, now let's go again to our front view, and now instead of Control with the pull, let's just click on the mouth, and when we click here you can see that we are pulling the edges of the mouth. So go all the way to the mouth, and what you will have is something like this. You will have this nice shape. You can see that now the mouth looks funnier, because the idea is to create a cute monster on 3D here on Cinema 4D. So that's why we are creating a mouth like this. So we're set with the mouth. Now it's time to create the teeth of this monster. And this is very simple to create. All we need to do is to create a new cube. Let's place this cube here on front, and let's change the size to this should be like 20, maybe 20 each side. No, they should be way smaller. They should be like 10. Yeah, I think 10 can work. We can change the size later if we want. Let's go to the front view, and you can see that the cube is very far away from the mouth. Place it here, and now all we have to do is to create this cube, make it editable. Select the point mode, grab your live selection, and you will turn this into sort of a triangle like this. And now you will create a subdivision surface and bring this cube into the subdivision surface like this, just like we did with the body. Now, okay, now it's time to change a little bit of the side. Grab your cube and change the Z-axis just a little bit so that it's a little flatter like this, and take these teeth like this all the way to inside of the mouth, like this, because well, the idea is that these are the teeth of the monster. Now let's see if we need to increase the size. I think we should increase a little bit the size, and to do that, just grab your scale tool and increase the size just a little bit. Yeah, I think this is fine. Now go back to our top view, select the subdivision surface, and create a copy. And bring this to the right side. It will look like this. Okay, this is fine. Now bring these two into one single group, and let's call this teeth. Now you can erase this body here because everything went fine with the sculpting, so we don't need it anymore. So we have the body, the feet, the arms, and the teeth, and now it's time to create the eyes and the eyebrows for our little character. Now let's begin by going to the front view and create a sphere, bring it to the top, take it to the front, and let's decrease the size to, let's see how much, maybe 10. I think 5, it's okay. No, they are too little now. Let's try something like 8. Perfect. Now let's bring these eyes. Usually on this monster, as you saw on the reference that I showed you on the first lesson, you could see that the eyes are always like to the sides of the mouth because they look really funny like this. They look like some weird fish or something. So that's what we're after. Now let's change the size of the sphere just a little bit. First let's attach it to the body. Right now it's pretty far away. Let's bring it to the body here. And now on the coordinates, change the z-axis scaling. Change it to maybe 0.5 instead of 1. 0.5. Okay, so that this is a flat sphere. Let's see how it looks. And you can see that right now it's just a straight eye, so we need change that just a little bit. But first let's create a duplicate of this eye. So let's create a duplicate here of the eye and take it to the right side like this, a little more to the left, just like this, and let's separate it just a little bit more. And now let's change this to garage shading. And now it's time to bring them closer, and we can rotate them just a little bit so that they look like they are attached to the body. So let's grab our rotation tool, which is this one, or just press the R key on your keyboard, and let's rotate this a little bit, and this one will be rotated just a little bit, like 25 degrees could be. And now attach them just a little bit to the body. Okay, so now we have the eyes. You can see how nice they look. They look really, this monster looks really cute right now. Now it's time to create the eyebrows, and these are also pretty simple to create. Now for this, let's change this to lines. We're on the front view, and we will use the same thing that we used to create the arms. We're going to be using the spline warp. Now grab your bezier tool and just create an arc on top of the eyes, just like this. Just like this to create the eyebrow. Now we have the spline. Now it's time to make it, place it here on front of the body, just like this. Go back to the front again, and let's repeat the same process as we did before. Just grab your capsule, don't worry about it, we don't even need to look to where it got. Now create a spline wrap here on the deformers, set the spline wrap into the capsule, and on the spline wrap set the spline into this spline tab here. Of course you have to change the axis to Y, and now we need to change the radius of the capsule. Right now it's too much, so we need to decrease this to, I don't know, could be like 2 centimeters. Yeah, and let's decrease the height also so that it actually looks like a little line. Maybe let's increase this to 2 centimeters, and the height can be around 40 centimeters, and let's increase the height segment so that the shape is smoother. Let's see how it looks. Okay, this is fine, but probably the capsule looks better on 3 points. Okay, and now let's just create a duplicate of all of this. and take it to this side. Okay, perfect. Now go to the front view, to the top view, sorry, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to take this spline, the right eyebrow spline, select your point mode, and you're going to select this spline, the right spline, and you're going to attach this to the body. Just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit like this. And now you're going to rotate the entire spline. You can change on the spline, on the coordinates, change the z-axis position. Okay, now it looks good. Now let's repeat the same process for the left eyebrow. Select the spline, point modes, and change the shape here. Change a little bit the position on the z-axis. Okay, and we're set with the eyes and the eyebrows. Now we're set, actually we're set with the whole face. You can see that we have the mouth, we have the teeth, we have the eyes and the eyebrows. You can take all of these and create a group called face. And you can even throw the teeth in there. Okay, so we are very organized here. So we're going pretty well. You can see how cool the monster looks. Looks really fine. And we're almost done with the modeling of the 3D monster. All we need to do is to create some details. I want to create some spikes here on the monster's head. And of course he is juggling, so we need to create the balls here on these arms. So let's go to the next lesson.